Muhammad ﷺ said, if a fly falls in your drink, dunk him in, push him in under the water or the milk or whatever, and throw him out and finish your drink. Because under one wing of the fly is disease, and under the other wing is the cure. So they say, doctors, Maurice Bucaille wrote about this in the back of his book, The Quran, the Bible, and Science. Doctors only know from the fly disease. The fly flies on diseased things and it brings those diseases to people. Flies are known for disease, so we don't know of any cure, so this hadith cannot be acceptable, cannot be authentic. Even though it is found in the most authentic books, we reject it because it contradicts, as they say, science. But really, does it contradict science? No, it doesn't. The hadith of the fly does not contradict science, really. It speaks about something which science doesn't know. That's all it's doing. Science knows about the disease, right? And the Prophet ﷺ 1,400 years ago pointed out, this is another point of the hadith that people don't reflect on. People 1,000 years ago, 1,400 years ago, didn't know that there was disease coming from the fly. The Prophet pointed it out 1,400 years ago, that it is a carrier of disease. But he also pointed out that it is a carrier of the cure. Science confirmed after the development of the microscope, where they could see microbes and the diseases which the fly carries. They said, yes, the fly carries disease. That's 16th century. 16th century. 1,000 years after the time that the Prophet ﷺ said that there is disease in the fly. Since then, they didn't investigate to see if there could be a cure from the fly also. It's just assumed it's just a source of disease, and that's it. Finish. End of story. However, if we were to have said to somebody in the 1900s, we said to them that in snake poison, the poison of the cobra, there is medicine for heart disease. What do you think they would have said then? Yeah, sounds reasonable. They would have said, you are mad. You are insane. It is known that if a cobra bites you, the poison will stop your heart and you will die. Yet today, there are cobra farms. Bangladesh is well known for it. Cobra farms where the poison of the cobra is milked from the cobra and extracted from it is medicine used for heart patients. That is the fact of science. The snake has in his own body the poison which could kill him along with the antidote. If he didn't have the antidote, every time he bit something, he would kill himself. So he has the antidote within him. And there are many other plants in the plant kingdom, it is known, that have both disease and cure. So it is not something unusual. It exists in the world of science. The disease and the cure in the same animal or insect, etc. So the fact that science hasn't discovered it in the fly doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means they haven't discovered it. That's all. So we have that on one hand. Look on the other hand. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam 1,400 years ago told his companions, his followers, not to sleep on their stomachs. He told them, don't sleep on your stomachs. And to discourage them Further, he said, that is the way the people of the hellfire lie in the hell. But he told them, don't sleep on your stomach. When he found them, his companions sleeping on his stomach, he would come, nudge them with his foot, told them, don't sleep on your stomach. That was the instructions which he gave. For 1,400 years, devout Muslims followed that. They slept on the right side, as the Prophet did, or on their backs. They avoided sleeping on their stomachs. In the 20th century, in the late 70s, early 80s, doctors analyzing the problems of the back, the spine, leading to what they called sway back, people who are hunched over, who can't stand straight, various operations that they have to do to fix the spine. After analyzing those in an issue of Time magazine, they placed a series of recommendations. On the top of the list of recommendations, they said, don't sleep on your stomach. Don't sleep on your stomach. They explained that the spine is the heaviest, bone structure of the body. There is nothing to support it. It's only soft organs in front of it, so it will sag downwards if you lie on your stomach. They said, lie on your side or on your back. That was told 1,400 years ago. Furthermore, in the late 80s, around 1989, British medical scientists doing a survey on children who died in their sleep. Babies, 1 year old, 2 years old, 8 months old. Parents put them to sleep and they die. They don't wake up. This was called cot death, or SDS, sudden death syndrome. There are different names for it. They didn't know what caused it. Speculation, but nobody knew. Scientists in the UK, they gathered data from the families who had a child die amongst them, asking them about the type of mattress that they put the child to sleep on, the type of crib, paint which was used, the atmosphere, what was the temperature in the room, were people smoking in the room. They tried to gather as much data about each of those children. Then they fed it into a computer and allowed the computer to correlate it and to bring out the common factors. Number one factor, children put to sleep on their stomachs. It was commonly known amongst the nurses that they would tell parents, tell the mother, if the child has colic, it's crying, it has upset stomach, put them to sleep, put them to lie on their stomachs. That was common knowledge. People used to do that. However, when the doctors realized this, they put on the front pages of the newspapers in the UK, a warning to parents not to put their children to sleep on their stomachs. Their babies, don't put them to sleep on their stomachs. They instructed the hospitals across the country to advise parents not to do this. 9 years later, in 1998, when they did an analysis of the rate of cot death, they found that it had dropped almost 70%. Their research was passed on to other parts of the world, in the US, etc., and it spread. But here was something. One might have said it is enough to know that it causes back problems, but here was something else, that it can lead to the death of children. This is something the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, spoke about 1,400 years ago. So do we need to modernize Islam? No, we don't. We may need to modernize Muslims in the sense that they need to educate themselves. They need to get involved in society, building institutions, etc. They need to go back to Islam and to practice it as it should be practiced. Yes. But modernize Islam? No.